Well, good morning, everybody. We are... Oh, Alf, it is hard to operate this thing. Let me go back. We are very excited to be here. So my name is Sam Marwood. I'm a co-founder of Cultivate Farms. Who has heard of Cultivate Farms? That's pretty good. That's about half. We'll need to do more. We put about 6 posts on Facebook a day. We probably need to get that to 10 to get your attention. But today, I have the honour of being up here with Claire Coates, who is the owner with her husband Mark of Freeland Pork, and they're one of the first farms that we've matched onto a farm, particularly in Claire and Mark's case with an investor. So Claire, you were actually from up this way for a while as well, weren't you?
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Claire from Freeland Pork. I may be a Victorian, but I did spend 6 years in Longreach, and 2 of our children are Queenslanders, so I don't know how much that counts for, but...
So, we are telling you today, I feel like a salesman here, but I'm trying to say to you, and this is what Claire and I are here to show, is that you can own a farm. Nobody told me that when I was 8 years old, or 12 years old, or 20 years old. I'm now 36, and we don't hear it often enough, but we want to tell you that it's absolutely possible for you to own a farm, and that's why we started Cultivate Farms. It's not easy. There's no straight path to get there, but we've got Claire here today to show you that it's absolutely possible to go from nothing to owning a farm, co-owning a farm with an investor. And I'm here to bring you the hype, to throw lots of ideas at you, but Claire's here to show you that's absolutely possible and to talk about her experience and how this all happened to inspire you. So what we thought we'd do today is develop for you and with you the 1-hour farm ownership pathway plan. It sounds pretty good. What we want you to do is each of you have your programs for the 2-day event. Inside there's plenty of space to write notes. We want you to get that out now, or get your phone out. You're going to be doing some work. I don't want you all sitting there crossed arms. If you want to own a farm, this is what you need to do. If you don't, just sit back and relax. But get your notepad out, get a pen out, get your phone out. Because at the end of this, we're going to give you time. There's 5 sections to go through. You're going to write down your own actions to get onto your farm. And these are the headings we're going to go through. There's mindset changes you probably need to go through. You're probably very sceptical about what we're saying today, and we want you to get through those barriers. We want you to write down your farm vision. What do you really want, not what can you afford right now. You're going to have a little black book with names of people who are going to help you get onto your farm. You're going to have a stack of tactics that you can work on every single day for the next 10 years to get on your farm, and we're going to give you actions for this weekend to get on and do it. Life is too short. Let's get you on your farm. So make sure you've got your notes out. Get the note pages on your phone. Handwritten if you're handwritten. This is going to be fun. So a bit of backstory around Cultivate Farms. We're matchmakers. We never set out to develop the eFarmony for farms. We didn't want to develop a matchmaking app. We just realised that what we need to do to get people to own a farm is match people. You as aspiring farmers, and that's the audience we're focusing this presentation on today, you probably, unless you're going to inherit the farm or you have $5 million in your back pocket right now, you need other people around you to get onto your farm. So we realised that getting people on a farm is all about relationships. So we have 3 audiences that we talk to every day. Aspiring farmers, people like yourselves who want to own a farm. You probably manage a farm or a farm worker, but you have that desire for farm ownership, which I don't think you're going to get rid of in the human race in the next 10,000 years. It's just there. It's embedded. People want to own farms. And the biggest barrier is that people think, if I'm not going to inherit the farm, or if I'm not a millionaire, it's not going to happen. And that's what we're spending all our time. That's the point of today is, it is absolutely possible. We'll show you the pathway. And then there are retiring farmers. There are people out there, and you probably know them yourselves right now. There are people who have kids who don't want the farm, or who don't have kids, and they don't want to go anywhere. But they think their only options are to die on it and see the farm go backwards, or sell it and walk away and get a house in town. And we're saying there is an alternative out there that you can back somebody else's kids onto your farm who reminds you of when you first started, and together you can share ownership and see the farm go to the next level. And then there's this word investors, which I think a lot of people get nervous about, but we're trying to blow open the discussion of who an investor is. There are people everywhere who have money and want to buy a farm that have not met you, and you haven't pulled a proposal together and taken it to them and asked them for money. There are people everywhere, and this is what and we'll go through this again today, who just want to own a farm but don't know how to do it, don't have the skills, and they need you to be ready and to go for it. So our whole days are spent talking to retiring farmers, talking about what they want for their farm, and then trying to find a match with someone that they get along with. Same thing, I had 2 emails yesterday from investors who want to buy a farm but don't know how to go about buying a farm and how to farm it. And then I have all these aspiring farmers talking to us every day with that dream, how do I get onto my farm? So my whole day is this matchmaking concept, trying to work on a case-by-case basis of getting people into and sharing ownership in a farm. So 3 things we do: Hope, Farm Ready, and matching. We spend a lot of time, you probably have seen videos of me talking to my phone, trying to give ideas and hope that you can own a farm, because nobody talks about it, and that's why we started Cultivate Farms. So a lot of our work is doing presentations like this, trying to inspire you, trying to get you to follow that farm ownership dream, because there are so many people in skyscrapers in Brisbane, in Sydney, and Melbourne who didn't realise it was possible to own a farm. So they said, well, stuff this, I'm going to go get a job somewhere else. My dream isn't going to be fulfilled, so why follow it? And we're saying, if you know it's possible to own a farm, you're going to do that next thing, get farm ready. You're going to spend 10, 15 years working hard being a farm manager, leasing land, Googling, doing all the online courses, going to TAFE, doing a university, doing whatever you need to, because that bigger goal is there. And we realise that so many people don't think that big goal is even possible, so why even try? And that's what we hate the idea of that. We hate the idea of people who had this dream to own a farm and it's squashed and they're off doing something else in their life that they hate. So if you really want to own a farm, you need to have this hope that it's possible, because why else are you going to stick at it doing something that you know is fruitless? So then when you've got the hope, we'll then support you with Farm Ready, but we don't do it. We just want to point you to the right people, or just encourage you to go and do whatever you need to. You as a person understand what skills you need: business management, farming, husbandry, whatever it is. You get out there and make sure you've got the skills, because you've got to try and convince a retiring farmer or investor that you're good enough. So you have to make sure that in yourself that you know how to run a farm and you can make money and do it well. And then the matching. We often say, you don't need us to do the matching. And again, this is the point of this 1 hour farm ownership pathway plan today. You should go out there and find your own matches. You should, and we as an industry should be encouraging more matches, but also we do matches as well. So people do come to us looking for farmers, and I'll talk about it in a minute, but make sure, if you haven't already, there's a free profile you can create online, because retiring farmers and investors are going through our database, headhunting farmers off that database, and people email me and say, hey, I'd love to be able to contact Mary, she looks like a gun. So make sure you have your profile up if you want to own a farm. So this is Claire's farm ownership pathway plan. We documented it. There's more to show you, that there is no one simple pathway to getting to where you want to go. And it's also understanding what your endpoints are. So over in the right-hand corner, it says buy a farm. That could be your goal. It could be that you just want to lease land, which is fine, or be a contractor or get a farm job. But there is a pathway to get there. It'll be long, it'll be convoluted, it'll be hard work. But we want to encourage you it's absolutely possible. And this reflects your life. You think, Claire?
Yeah, it kind of does. And I think the point is that, you know, you can set a path, and I think it's really important that you do set a path, but also be open to the fact that that path could change. You know, we learn and we grow as we go, and keep the end goal in mind. Like, we should always begin with the end in mind. I think that's really crucial. What do we want to achieve? But to get there may change, and that's okay. And we learn and grow and we evolve, and we eventually keep aspiring to get that dream. That's it. Now, remember there are the process to ask questions, so make sure you send them through now. The first question we're going to be following up around is, what are you sceptical about? So keep those questions coming and keep thinking about this, but we want you to just go for it. What are you really sceptical about? Is this even possible? Let's answer some of those questions. We'll come to that in a minute. So lessons we've learnt as aspiring farmers: it's going to take you 30, 40 years on the average wage to save for a deposit of a farm. What's a farm around here? $5 million? Something that's viable. You need about $2 million to get a deposit. That's a lot of work to get $2 million to try and buy a farm.
So you can just work hard and save if you want to, but we think 30 years is too long. You need to partner with people, and that's what we've learnt, is you need a partner to get onto your farm and share ownership. But what's exciting is that there are retiring farmers out there who want you, who are waiting for you, who don't know you're around, and they love the idea of backing somebody else onto their farm and then staying involved in that farm forever. And that there are investors out there, again, waiting for you, who didn't know that it's possible to buy a farm. They've got the money, they don't know how to do it, and again, they're waiting for you to come and show them what is possible. So just to take a step back around this ownership, so we are talking about shared ownership, and I think sharing is a big scary word as well in the farming world, sharing with someone else's kids. But it's absolutely all possible. Everything we talk about has been happening for generations around sharing ownership. But these are some technical arrangements that can be set up to share that ownership. There are lawyers and accountants out there who can work through these details, but this is more just to show you that it's possible. The number one thing you need to do is get someone ready to have a conversation with you about sharing ownership, and you can worry about the details later. So share farming, lease to buy, equity, vendor finance, long-term lease, there's more. But it's just to show you they're the things that you're aiming at, the technical thing you're aiming at once you've found your farmer or investor to get onto the farm. So our momentum, we've got 1,000 aspiring farmers on our membership database, so you can go to cultivatefarms.com right now and check them out. You can have a private account on there if you want to, if you don't want your name being all over the web about ownership, but at least it's on our database, because every day we're sending out emails from retiring farmers who want to connect with you. So if you want to own a farm, that is absolutely number one step you need to be doing, is get your name out there and start thinking about how you can get on your farm and how we can find opportunities for you. We've made 10 matches, we're just doing a 10th at the moment. We've got 25 matches on our database at the moment on the farms tab. We've got probably another 20 retiring farmers we're talking to, trying to help them work through this decision around whether they want to share ownership. Cultivator is a program we're running right now in New South Wales and Victoria, so you should get jealous that it's only happening there and we need to run it here. But this, we think, is a world first program, of which Claire was the first successful recipient, where farmers are pitching, and at the end of it, one of them is going to be backed by an investor. This happened in 2017 with Claire. Claire and Mark pitched one of 13 farmers across Australia, and this investor invested with her, and this investor wants to go again. And so we're running it again in 2020. Applications are due today, actually, if you want to farm in Victoria and New South Wales, so get on there. And then we'll take farmers over a 6-month period and pull a pitch together, and at the end of it, that investor's going to back another farmer again. And hopefully we'll get all 10 farmers backed by investors as we get media and attention and show people that there are the best farmers in Australia ready to own a farm. They just need money, and you have money, so why not invest into a farm? We have all these investors coming to us, and we're trying to match them with aspiring farmers. The attention is growing. Everybody talks about the age of farmers across Australia. Everyone wants solutions, and we're out there trying to be cheeky and annoying and try and promote it to help you guys get onto your farm, because we need more attention to get people thinking about this idea of sharing ownership and making it possible for you to own a farm. I've got 400 videos of me talking with tactical, practical ideas on how to own a farm, so make sure you're watching them. Podcasts, YouTube, Instagram, everything for you to get on your farm. And offline matches are happening every day, which is what we want. People email us and say, Sam, I just figured out a vendor finance deal with the next door neighbour or a farm up the road. Thank you so much for just the inspiration to keep going. And that's what we want to hear. We want to hear people say this all the time. I spoke to another guy the other day. He got an investor after 2 years of hunting and being annoying, and he got an investor. We want you to do the matches without us. We just want you to get pumped up, go for it, know it's possible, you can do this. Your goal is to find one person. All you need is one person with a farm or with money to say, I think you're the best, let's do something, let's go for it. It's going to be hard to get there, but that's it. It's pretty simple sort of a goal here. You just need one person, one retiring farmer, one investor. Jed, have you got any questions or scepticisms?
Mate, you may cover it later in your presentation, so I'll ask you a couple of quick ones and you can let me know. Mate, are the investors Australian or from overseas? Do the arrangements result in profit sharing with the existing?
Australian or overseas investors? most of what we're talking about is Australian investors. Probably don't have the reach at the moment to talk international, but at the moment we'll just keep our focus to Australian. Maybe if we did get it international, our focus is always on making sure you as aspiring farmers have some ownership at the start and you're building your ownership over time. So I think wherever your money is coming from, the aim is for you to build your wealth and hopefully own the whole thing after 10 years or 20 years' time. So we haven't got into the international world. I know it's a bit of a contentious thing, but my goal is to get you onto a farm. So we'll do whatever we need to do to make that happen. And if it is to take international money, maybe we need to. Happy to have that discussion. And there was a second one, Jed, or we move on?
Good go.
So this is me at the back there with my little brother on a dairy farm in central Victoria. And this is about 2 hours after my dreams were crushed. I don't know if it was, but it feels like it. When I came back from the dairy with Dad, and I said, Dad, when do I get the farm? And I'm one of 6 kids. And he said, you're not getting the farm? Mum and I are selling up. How else are we going to retire? And that was it. My dreams were crushed. I knew I would never be a farmer. Where was I going to get $1 million or $2 million bucks from to go own my farm? I wanted to own the farm. And so I said, well, I'm not doing farming. I'm going to go do something else. And I went and worked for the Victorian government for far too many years. And now I'll never be a farmer. I hate the idea that there are 8-year-olds out there, even people like you, who think you can't own a farm and your dreams are crushed. Life's too short not to be able to follow these dreams. And that's why we're pumped about what we're doing with Cultivate Farms. So about, 25 years later, 30 years later or something, 20, I met up with my good mate Tim, who I've known for 10 years or so. And Tim's a farmer as well, that's working on a farm. And we caught up buying suits for his little brother's wedding, and he said, Sam, all I want to do is own a farm. That's all I want to do. But I don't have $5 million bucks. Imagine if there was a business that helped to buy farms for young people, and I went back to being an 8-year-old and said, yeah, where is that business? Imagine if that business was around when I was an 8-year-old. I would have said, screw you, Dad, I'm going to get my farm anyway. I figured out a pathway. It's going to happen. See you later. And then we spent the last 4 years trying to figure out what this meant. We had no idea what this meant. So we've Googled, we've looked online, we've spoken to many people, coffee meetings, discussions all over Australia, all over the world, trying to figure out what it is, and we've realised this relationships is the key barrier to getting into your farm. You need to be matched with people. And so our mission is to break down barriers, mainly mental barriers. In your minds around owning a farm, in retiring farmers that they don't like the idea of sharing, we've got to break that down and show that it's possible and a great thing. And investors' minds that they think they can't own a farm or they don't know how to go about owning a farm. So we are breaking down barriers every day. That's our goal. And our big vision is to rejuvenate regional Australia. We want you on farms. We want the best people on farms living their dream to get young people back to rejuvenate communities. We think this thing around farm ownership is one of the key reasons why regional communities are declining. And if we can flip that on the head, we can have a brain drain from the city back to the bush. It's a bit bold, but that's what we want. So case studies. We're going to get to this mindset in a second, but I want to give you some more case studies, and Claire's going to jump in a second as well around these. But I want to show you that there are matches that are happening, and on large-scale farms, which is probably what you're thinking around up here as well. So there's a $10 million farm a young couple are now going to own in the next 10 to 20 years. In central Victoria, Judy and Charlie Hocking are the retiring couple. Judy was my grade 3 teacher, and she's been following my journey for a number of years. And she rang me up one day and said, our work is gone, the 2 kids don't want it, we're going to die on this farm. Can you find us a farmer? And I said, Judy, absolutely. And we put a promotion out. Within a week, she and Charlie had found a farmer that they knew of. Now they're working through a program of transitioning ownership. And this couple is going to own a $10 million farm over the next 10 years. Like, how come not everyone is standing up and cheering? That is ridiculous. It's amazing, just through one Facebook post. This is just a 1,000-acre farm in central Victoria with a mate of mine who's got this land. It's probably typical of many people. He's got 1,000 acres, he's not really doing much with it. He's heard about me doing Cultivate Farms, and I keep saying to him, mate, I got the farmers for you, what do you want? And he goes, whatever. So one day I just got a list of the farmers in that area, I sent it to him, and he rang me up and said, this is amazing, these farmers are awesome. And he's now doing a share farm deal with a guy called Charlie, who he brings the land, Charlie does the work, and they're sharing the sheep. So again, these aren't really hard deals to pull together. It's just getting people to realise that they should be thinking about sharing to grow that wealth. Hazel Bray in Tasmania, a young couple, they're probably in their late 30s, they want to do other stuff. And so we've matched them with a farmer to do share farming. Tim and Tegan Hicks, we haven't quite got them an ownership deal, but they've had a dozen lease arrangements set up over the last few years. And real estate agents and stock agents can't believe the deals they're pulling together because they're out there hustling and doing everything that you're going to be doing over the next year or so. There's a farmer who wants someone to work on their farm, and I've said, well, I'll help you find someone, but I want you to help them buy into the land next door or nearby once you get to know them. They said, fantastic. If they're good enough, I'll co-invest with them onto some more land. I'll keep this dirt that I've got now, but let's add to it. Fantastic. That's the attitude I want to have from employers out there, that if you want the best, offer them some form of ownership, and you can get the best and you keep them for a very long time. Stephen Fisher in northwest Tasmania, he's a dairy farmer that's won many awards, and he's thinking along the lines we're thinking about today, and he organised to get a young fella who's actually a builder to be the dairy farmer, and he pulled a town hall meeting together, and he got 4 people to invest around $200,000 each to go buy a dairy farm. And now the farm's taking off, and like that sort of stuff is absolutely possible. You could be standing up here in a town hall meeting spruiking why you're the best and asking people for money. There is a bachelor, this is the stuff I really love, and it's pretty low likelihood, but a bachelor's written in the will that the fella next door is going to get the farm. And that happens everybody knows someone who doesn't have family to hand the farm onto. And what are you doing to get in front of those people so you've got a chance at least in getting onto your farm? And here's the one we're really excited about. This is Mark Coates, Claire's husband, and Heidi on Freeland Pork farm in central Victoria. And this is through the Cultivator program, and we'll talk through this in a second, where Claire and Mark pitched, and they're backed by an investor. And this is the sort of stuff we want to get out there and inspire the industry, that there are people who want to back people like yourselves. Let's get more case studies. Let's push this along. So Claire, what's your backstory? You're up at Longreach, and then now you're in central Victoria on a free-range pig farm. How did this all come about?
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a crazy old path. First, I just want to say, really great to be here. Loving being back in Queensland. I did spend 6 years in Longreach. I loved it up there, and I love the cattle industry. And yet I find myself in Victoria with 100 acres farming free-range pigs. But that's what I mean about the path, you know. Who would know? Who knows what can happen and what opportunities can come about. So really excited to share my story. The backstory basically is I'm from regional Victoria. I spent a bit of time as a Jillaroo in the Territory. Got my ag certificate on a sheep stud. I bred some Brahman cattle, used to show cattle before we ever had children. This is down in Victoria. I worked in rural merchandise. I loved working with all the reps, and really loved dealing with everybody through rural merchandise and sales. Went up to Longreach, worked on a property up there, got stuck into the cattle industry up there. Went hay contracting. Part of the hay contracting, we got involved with business coaching, and that's when my eyes really opened to what possibilities there really are. And basically, the biggest thing is that you got to learn before you earn. There's a 10 tonne of knowledge available to us, and if you can really start to understand and learn about the business end of the enterprise that you want to be in, you can truly understand the business end as well as the practical skill of what it is you're doing, then it can really take you places. So really, really grateful for the opportunity that we created in learning a lot about the business end of the business. We were in Longreach for 6 years. We had 2 kids up there. We've now got a 3rd child as well. She's Victorian, the other 2 are Queenslanders. While we were transitioning back to family down in Victoria, we said, rightio, so we're gonna pull all the resources that we have, pull together all the knowledge that we've gained, and create something pretty cool, that suited our lifestyle, and it's just something that we really wanted to do. And we saw an opportunity for free-range pork production. And you guys, I don't know how much it's sort of spoken about up here really, but traditionally pigs and chooks are farmed intensely, and our aim was that, you don't need to farm, you don't need to factory farm. There is another way, and we thought that it would be really cool, to get pigs farmed more like cattle. We muster them in, we draft them, we weigh them, just like you do with cattle, we do with pigs, which is interesting. It's really hard to muster pigs, but it's good fun. And so we created this model, and we worked out. We started with a plan. We had to come up with a really, really solid plan. We'd learnt this through our other work and being in the industry and our business coaching, that we needed to have a really solid plan. So we went about and did that. We put the work in, we set the vision, we wrote the business plan, we sought the advice that we needed from experts. I'd never farmed pigs before. Mark had dabbled a little bit in pigs, back in his younger years. But we had to go and learn. We knew what the vision was, we knew what we wanted to achieve, but we didn't necessarily have all the skill that we needed to do it. So we sought advice. We went to experts. We learnt, what it is we needed to do in order to pull off this plan. And the coaching and the mentoring was a huge part of that too. And away we went.
So good. And so you had this vision for a free-range pig farm, and then you just went and spent all your money and bought a farm.
No. Didn't have enough money to buy a farm.
You leased land, wasn't it, the first thing you did?
Correct, yeah. So first thing we did was is plan the business model. What was it going to look like? How many pigs was it going to be? How much land did we need? What was the genetics? How much was it going to cost us before we were going to get a return on our investment? That's another really crucial point. We worked out all of those details and then went, okay, we need some dirt. So we went and spoke to friends, spoke to family of friends, and we secured 500 acres, which I know in Queensland terms it's nothing, it's like not even the back paddock, but that's all we needed, and that was actually quite a lot. It was quite a lot of land, and we secured this farm, we set it up, and we bought our first lot of breeding sows, and away we went.
And then things were going well until there was an objector to the free-range thing, and basically you're in turmoil and you're after another bit of land, and that's when... Yeah,
that's when the path changed.
Yep.
We thought, well, this is great, we've got some leased country, let's really kick this thing off. And there was a neighbour up the road, a few k's up the road, and he was a pretty old school intensive pig farmer. He's a pretty grumpy old man, actually. And... he objected to us being there. So we'd done all the right things. We'd been to the council. We'd got now, permits, and we'd gone through all of that. That was all part of the original plan. Remembering that we're beginning with the end in mind. We knew that those things had to filter through and be done in the right order. And anyway, he put his foot down, and he was fairly, in the end, he was fairly threatened by the free range movement because he was a traditional intensive farmer. So he was threatened by little old us with not many sows. Potentially going to get a better return for our product on less dirt and less infrastructure and a lot less outlay. So he wasn't happy. So he decided to drag that out and take us to VCAT, which I think, QCAT, I think the same thing here, isn't it, in Queensland? But down into Melbourne to mediate and work through all these details. And it's such a prolonged, annoying process. So I just went, okay, well, we'll just ride this storm. I can play, I can play this game. It's okay. And all the while in the background, I was like, shit, we need some more dirt. What are we going to do? So we started ringing around, met some people, spoke to real estate agents. Can I lease another farm somewhere? And then, bang, I've ended up being connected with Sam. And I was like, here we go. Here's an opportunity to actually end up changing the plan to be a far more sustainable option than what we had originally set out to do. I'm like, this is great. I'm going to pitch this. I'm going to Shark Tank this big time.
It would have been weird though, Claire, because I remember I'm really grateful for him because of him.
I owe this objector a thank you card.
Yeah, exactly.
It meant that we could do better.
But were you? Because I remember talking to you and going, "Yeah, we can get you an investor, of course." Did you think we were wackos? And what was your thought process?
I was like, man, this guy's enthusiastic. I like this. Look, we'd thought about, without really understanding and knowing a lot about what an investor arrangement would look like, it's something we'd thought about but hadn't researched. And so here was the opportunity. It was presented to us in this roundabout bizarre way, and we went, cool, like let's see what it actually looks like. And, we figured we had nothing to lose. I mean, we could only tread water for so long on the lease farm. We were restricted to production. There was going to come a time where we weren't going to be able to keep feeding these pigs without getting the business model going and actually starting to make some money. So we really had nothing to lose. So, yeah, we pitched. We found a farm that was for sale that suited us, and we pitched that particular farm with the business model as a combined pitching effort.
So there was 13 other farmers who pitched all over Australia, Claire. Why do you think the investor chose you?
Well, I think first and foremost is that we'd already backed ourselves. I think that's a really valid, really crucial point. If you're not prepared to back yourself first, you're not going to give the confidence to someone else to come in and want to back you. So, and in order to be able to back yourself, you've got to have a really clear vision and a clear plan. So, learn what you need to learn. But also don't be afraid to make a start, because, there's never a good day to start, really. There's always going to be things that are like, oh, but what if? Get your confidence, get as much information and sound planning behind you as you can, and make a start. And that's basically what we did. We set the vision, we wrote the plan, we did all those things, and we'd already created the brand. So by the time, we pitched the farm and the model, we already had those things in place. So we gave confidence that we're already doing it.
And so you got the match. It's been 18 months now, which is amazing. That's amazing. Does the investor come around every day and ask you what you're doing, and are they annoying? What does it mean to be matched with an investor? How's it all actually worked out?
Yeah, well, that was a bit of the unknown at the start. How much involvement was the investor going to have? And I kind of wanted there to be involvement. I wanted to utilise our investor as a mentor. He knows what he's doing. So we can learn from people like that. But basically, we decided to set up a level of accountability around the business model. So we created a board. So Mark and I and Sam and our investor, we meet together as a board every month, and we submit a farm report with what's happening on the farm, not just on the farm, but also on the business side of things, because the business really is almost two businesses. You've got the farming of the animals to the point of sale, which my husband Mark is, he mostly does that, and my side of things is getting that animal from a carcass to the consumer. So it really is kind of two models, and so we separate those things on the report template every month, and it creates a level of accountability not only for us, but it also instills confidence in the investor. He's a busy man, he's got a ton of things going on, but he needs to know that we've got it, so we make sure that we, report on everything that's happening. He's not even in most of the board meetings now. He's generally always an apology, because he knows that we're right, but he's always there if we need him. So no, he's not in our back pocket, but he's certainly there when and if we need him. And so long as we keep feeding the information, even if it's bad, even if we've had a month where, we really didn't hit, the target of sales that we needed for whatever reason, I think the most important thing is to own that and go, okay, so we didn't hit our target. We're not going to try and hide that, but why didn't we hit it? And we need to go through that process so that we can then do better the next month. So this is this whole level of accountability within the business.
And if you were in the situation, we knew what you know now, 10 years ago, what are some things you would do differently, knowing that there are investors out there? Would you approach things differently? It sounded like you still had that vision in your head of ownership for some reason, and you were on that pathway anyway. Yeah,
I aspire for big things. I can't settle for small things. I like to have goals and things to work towards. So, there was always a lot of passion, a lot of drive for myself. But if I could go back 10 years, basically it would be what I said earlier, learn before you earn. You can never learn enough. Surround yourself with people that know your industry, and just learn from them. We all bring different skills in different areas. We can't all be experts in everything. So surround yourself with people who are, and learn from them, and utilise, the resources that are out there. I recently went to the National Achievers Congress in Melbourne and listened to Grant Cardone and Kerwin Ray, Gary Vee, a few other speakers, and it's really inspirational. And it costs next to nothing to go. These things are held everywhere. They stream all this live stuff on social media. Just allocate the time to to read it and to listen to it and take what you want from it. I'm pretty hopeless at sitting down and reading a book. So, you know, when I'm doing the delivery run to Melbourne in the van, delivering all the pork, because I'm not leveraged enough to have someone to do it for me, I get a podcast in my ear, or, you know, I set up all those, you know, the video feeds from all these people, and I listen to them, you know, while I'm driving.
So good. And one of those is Cultivate Farms, which is a great podcast. That is... Now,
oh, yeah, that one too.
This is amazing. This is why I love having Claire here. So... Next thing, we need to get your pens out and your phones out, because this is the start of your plan here. We've given you case studies. Claire is living proof that this is possible. We want all your sceptical questions over to Jed, but I want to work through, maybe there's a mindset change you need to have here, there's things you need to think differently, and maybe there's people you need to get rid of in your life. Who is holding you back? I think about this starting Cultivate Farms. There's so many negative people around. You do not need to be hanging around with people who do not see your vision. It is hard enough every day getting up trying to go for this crazy dream, let alone having people on your back saying it's not possible. So what is your mindset? Who is holding you back? What friendships do you need to stop? What friendships do you need to start? Get writing all this down. Stop mental thinking around, I'm not deserving. Who says you're not deserving in owning a farm? Yeah, it's a massive dream, but who says you don't deserve that? And again, you only need to convince one farmer or one investor. Maybe you're worried about comments in the pub that you walk in and everyone goes, oh, here's that cocky bugger who reckons he's going to own a farm or she's going to own a farm, and they bag you out constantly. If you're willing to cop that because you believe in this dream, go for it. If you're not willing to cop that, maybe don't go for this. Do you really want the stress of waking up at midnight, nearly vomiting, wondering how you're going to pay that last bill? Are you an entrepreneur, and are you in that mindset to be able to be the one who all the problems are on you? If that is you, this is for you. If not, try something different, but make sure you know that this is something for you. You're thinking, I don't have the time to go and find these farmers. Well, stop watching Netflix. There are so many things you can be doing to open doors to get what you want. If you really want this, you'll make time. It's not possible. We've given you ideas, we've given you case studies, you can watch all of our information. It is absolutely possible. As if anyone would back me, don't put the no in other people's mouths. How do you know the next door neighbour won't want to do a vendor finance deal with you? Have you asked them? Have you been annoying for the last 5 years and providing value to them and going and helping them and showing that you really want this? Don't put the no in other people's mouths. So think about 2 or 3 of these things. What are the things you need to change mentally for you to even start this journey? Do you really want it? And if you do, have you got the right mindset? We'll give you a minute to write and think. Hello. Jed, any sceptical inquiries?
What happens if the farm doesn't turn a profit, e.g. drought?
If you're going into business with someone who doesn't understand the risks of drought and you haven't prepared for that, you should not go into business with that person. This is about you and another person or many people having an agreement even before you start this. What are your exits? What are you going to do in a drought? What are you all prepared to take in terms of returns? Are you happy for this to make a loss for 3 years before you make a profit? We're not here to tell you what those deals should be or how it should work out. It's just a relationship between you and an investor or a retiring farmer for you to figure out whatever the deal is that works best for you. And
can I just jump in on that one too? Another really valid point is to know your numbers. You know, that's one of the most valuable things that I've learned through business coaching. So if you can go into it knowing your numbers, which has already got the risk analysis, you know, and the risk strategies imprinted in there. I mean, we're in a high risk industry before we even start because we can't control the weather. We can't control, you know, drought. We can't even really control commodity prices a lot of the time. So those things all have to be factored in there. So if you truly know your numbers, and if you don't know how to read your numbers and you're not sure how to do it, go and seek, you know, help and learnings from the people that can, because that's going to really reduce your risk in any agricultural-based business enterprise.
That's it. All right, you are now all pumped up. Let's keep going. We're going to get right in this plan. Mindset's all in the right order. Now, what are you actually fighting for? What is your farm vision? What do you really, really want? You don't have to share this with anybody unless you want to. send it over anonymously and give some people an insight of what people are looking for. What's the size of the farm? Where is it? What sort of operation are you running? And how much money do you need? Let's just write it down. Give you a minute as well to write that down, but you need to know what you're fighting for. This isn't what you think you can afford right now or tomorrow. This is around what you really want. Let's stop mucking around. You only live once. What is the farm that you want? Are any coming through, Jed? They can't type that quick. Well, let's do a question while they're writing their vision.
So it follows on a little bit from your answer before, Claire. What kind of preparation does a young farmer need before approaching a retiring farmer or investor? Do they need an existing business that needs growth, or just a solid business plan and budget all set out, ready to go?
I think everybody's going to come. Everyone's going to have a different set of skills that they're going to bring to the table, no matter what the situation. So, you know, obviously you can really spruik the things that you are good at, whatever those things may be. You know, whether it's the practical side of farming cattle, or maybe it is more the business end of it, or maybe you've just got this amazing marketing ability. You know, that's a huge asset. I think if you can get a grasp on the whole bigger picture, and not just go in it with only the skill that you currently have, you're going to be more appealing. And even if you go in it going, do you know what, I know nothing about marketing, but I know I'm kind of going to need to know a bit about that stuff, so this is the steps I'm going to take so that I can, do the marketing that I need to do to make this a success, or this is what I'm going to do to make sure that my budget is accurate and I'm going to get help, to make sure that it's on track. So, I mean, yes, you want to bring as much skill in as many areas as you can, bring in the fact that you are going to seek the people that are going to help you to achieve it, and that's appealing in itself.
And we've got heaps of these tactics right now. So your mindset's in the right place, you know what farm you're aiming for, now here's the real work starts. You need people, investors and retiring farmers. So this step now is for you to go through a list of all these people you know already that you need to keep building a relationship with and to open up doors to get onto your farm. So we'll go through a list of people. You, as we go through this, need to be thinking about who is an investor. We're going to unlock who that is, and retiring farmers. Get a little black book is what you're going to have of names of people that can get you onto your farm. Who are investors? We're talking wealthy individuals. This is the thing most people think about, most people think about wealthy individuals in Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne with lots of money. Yes, they are investors, but there are so many others. There's the owner of the farm that you work on now. Obviously, they're go-getters and they have money. How do you leverage them to get onto your farm? There are wealthy farmers out there who already understand farming, who are looking to expand. How do you work with them? There are retiring and retired farmers. There are farmers in town with $5 million figuring out how to play the stock market. Why aren't they investing in you? Friends and family. Everyone has a rich uncle. Self-managed super funds. You can use your own super to buy a farm and get in. I did a little video on that the other day. Public crowdfunding, so equity crowdfunding. Domacom, we're working with them to try and make it possible to own a farm. $2,500 you can own a bit of dirt, and we can get 100 people to help you out. That's probably a little bit away, but it's happening. The bank can give you up to 60% of the value of the farm. That's massive. It's just got to get the other 40%. And you, make sure you have money yourself. If you are not saving and showing you're good with your own money, I wouldn't back you. And who else would? So make sure you are saving your own money or investing it and showing that you've got money yourself. So keep thinking about people on your list that you need to add that you're going to hit up for money. Oh, and now, who are retiring farmers? And think about people who, and you would know them, again, write their names down. There are people out there who don't have kids but don't want to leave the farm. There are people out there whose kids don't want the farm. And you could be their kid. There are wealthy farmers looking to grow. You can treat them as retiring farmers. There's entrepreneurial farmers, and there's your family as well. Thinking about if you are going to inherit, how do you make sure that you're stitching that up? So again, think about who these people are on your own list right now. And everything we're going to talk about from here is how do you get to know those people, but also how you make your little black book a big black book of names. So here are your tactics. So now you've got you're ready for it. You've got your vision. You've got your list of farmers. Here are all the tactics. And there's a lot of tactics here. It's all right because you can watch me and Claire over and over and over again. We'll send this PDF out. But it's more to show there's heaps of ways to get in front of these people. But the very first point here is that you are not walking up to a farmer and asking them for their farm. This is about you showing your genuine passion to be a farmer, to own a farm, to live in this district for the rest of your life, that you can't think of anything else and you're just trying to find people who can help you get onto your dream property. You are not going there to ask them when they're handing you over the farm. This is about you being genuine, and because that's who people want to back, and it might take 6 months, 6 years, 10 years, 15 years for you to build this relationship, but you need to be genuine about how you're going about asking these people and talking to them. But have that confidence about you, but again, it's not about you coming in and taking something away from them. It's about you genuinely wanting to build on their farm, build on their vision, offer your skills and services so that you and they can meet this broader vision around good farming. So we've got 3 slides of these tactics and we're going to run through them. We want you to write down the ones that you reckon you could pick off and start having a crack at. So you need your little black book for investors, and these are the types of people who can access investors for you. There are people everywhere who know people with money. So there's the mayor. Have you hit up meetings with the mayor? Imagine setting up a meeting with the mayor saying, I'm going to own a farm in this district. I love this district. Help me find investors. Who does meetings like that with the mayor? You do. Land services, they know everybody in the whole region. Government workers, they know everyone in the region. How do you have coffee meetings with them to find out who the investors are or who the retiring farmers are? Succession planners, 90-minute exit over there, know every farm in the district and who needs a next-gen farmer to be part of the succession plan. Real estate agents, how do you annoy real estate agents until they finally reveal all the farmers who don't necessarily want to sell but love the idea of transitioning ownership? Accountants know all the numbers and all the farms out there. The bankers know all the numbers. The farm advisors know all the farmers and all the numbers. How are you getting in front of those people to tell them about your vision so that they help you? Because otherwise you're going to be annoying them for the next 5 years. So you get these investors, you need to show you have a plan. We have a farm pitching template on our website. I'm happy to email it to anybody. You need to be able to have a plan or have a plan written out around why you're the best, why this farm is the best farm that you're thinking of pitching, and how you're going to make money. You can have these doors open to investors, but you still need to have a plan. This is what Claire did. This is what this Cultivator program is all about. So start writing down your vision for your farm. So if someone at dinner party says, you want to own a farm? You go, yep, and here's my 30-page plan. Are you ready to invest? You need this pitch written down. And this is if you want to go down that avenue of investors. Now, retiring farmers. Again, you need a little black book of retiring farmers. How do you unlock them? You should be using social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. You should be documenting your journey of farm ownership. Social media is ridiculous. There's never been a better time in human history to get attention from anybody. And you can be using that to have 100 followers who are all out there looking for farms for you as well. If you're bold enough, you should be using social media to document your journey. Have more coffee meetings, have dinner parties, and whenever you're at a dinner party talking about you wanting to own a farm. You never know who's out there that knows retiring farmers. You should be joining land care groups in every single association you can with people who are of the age that you think would be willing to step back from their farm and show you want the farm, that you're part of this group, and get these conversations going. You can write letters and put them in the letterbox. We have a draft letter on our blog. You can copy and paste, write a little hand note and put it in letterboxes of farmers that you would love to have their farm. Get paid to meet farmers. So get a job like a truck driver or seed cleaning where you get paid to be out meeting farmers and you can have casual conversations about life and you can ask them what they're doing with the farm. And you have a list of 50 farmers that you're going around to. What a great way to get onto your farm and get paid to do it. Write an article and get into the newspaper. Talk about how you're a young farmer and you want a farm. Put it in the newspaper. That's where farmers were reading, the old school paper, newspaper. Put yourself out there.
Birds of a feather flock together. Go where they all flock.
That's it, exactly.
Hit them up all at once.
Town hall meeting. Pitch and say you're the best. Invite 10 people and do a presentation. It sounds so cocky, but it could work. You need to know the landscape better than real estate agents. I've had people say to me, Sam, our farm just sold and I really wanted it. Fail. You should have known that 10 years ago. You need to know everybody in the landscape and what they're up to. You need to go to places where retiring farmers go. You should go volunteer on a farm, help fix their fence, help them write a land care grant. There's land care grants right now available, and you're good at writing. You could be writing to get them a $50,000 grant to fix their farm up. How can you provide value? Get the door open, get conversations going. Look for land to lease. Even the act of looking will help open doors for you. That people know you're on the hunt. Get out there and look. Get friends and family looking. Check out farms that haven't sold for over 6 months. We hacked a website to get all that information, and it's on one of our blog posts all over Australia. Every farm that hasn't sold for 6 months, you can go there and annoy the real estate agents and say, this farm hasn't sold for 6 months, would they do vendor finance? Queensland Young Farmer Debt Program, what a great program. There's ways to leverage that with retiring farmers or investors.
And I think, just if I can jump in, don't be afraid to be knocked back. You're going to get knocked back 1,000 times before one person goes, oh yeah, yep. Well, I want to talk to you about that. Yep. So don't be afraid that, you're not getting any traction or it's not happening. You've just got to keep that momentum going and just trust in your vision and, keep at it. Yeah, don't take no for an answer.
So keep writing down this. This is the last one here. Facebook Marketplace, you can promote anything and sell anything for free. Why don't you sell yourself? Put yourself up there. We do it all the time for our farms. Gumtree and Classifieds, they're all free. You can say, farmer wants farm. Who knows? Who knows? You can marry into a farm. A very good tactic, and there's probably some arrangements set up last night. Why not?
I should have done that, it would have been easier.
You can get adopted by a farmer. That's a bit radical. I love that idea though. Set up a contracting business. Again, get yourself in there. Be a fence contractor. Get paid to be in front of these farmers. Farm sit. Go look after someone's farm. They obviously like the idea of getting away from their farm. Maybe when they come back you say, hey, I love it. Let's what about a deal? We'll do an arrangement here. And drive up driveways. Do the hard work. Get to know people and build these relationships. There are more tactics than that available, but hopefully that's enough for you to have a few to think of. And how's that time going, Claire?
10 o'clock.
Great. So, now you've got your mindset right. You've got your vision. You've got the people. You've got a little black book. And you've got a handful of little tactics that you're going to follow up over the next year or so. We want to now work with you on some scenarios. There's 4 scenarios. Hopefully everybody fits into one of these scenarios. And this is how Claire and I would go about doing it if we were you. So, this one's quite common. You're on a family farm, you're going to inherit the farm. Fantastic, isn't it? But then you're like me and you've got 5 other siblings. It's not so great. So you can sit around and wait until you get given the farm and then try and figure out the whole succession plan. And by the time you're 70, the farm gets handed over to you. That sounds terrific. And that is definitely a pathway. You should go for that. But don't die waiting. We would encourage you to get that stitched up, keep working on that, but go and find another farm elsewhere. Leverage your family name. Leverage your family farm. Find another farmer, another retiring farmer. Keep your options open. Don't get stuck thinking that this is your pathway, is your family farm. It could all fall through.
And the other point too is, that could actually be a real thing that, people are going to take on the family enterprise and the family farm. But how amazing would it be if you went and spent the next 10 years while you're waiting for this to come about to get the best skills, get some other investment behind you, go and learn a heap of stuff so that when you finally get onto that farm, you're just going to smash it out of the park.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win, exactly.
All right, next one. You're a farm manager, so you know the books inside out, you know how to make money at this farm, the farm owner doesn't have to do much, and you've got a bit of a side hustle, you're leasing land. We think this is pretty much similar to Claire's and Mark's scenario. You're probably ready for an investor if you're bold enough. You're itching. You can't think of anything else. You want to own your farm. You need to start thinking about how you pull a pitch together. You need to spend your 5 p.m. till midnight every day with this pitch template and start writing down why you're the best farmer. Pull a financial model together. Just pick a farm. Put a polygon around it. Just pick it. Write numbers around why this is going to make money and why you're the best. And then you've got this document in your back pocket. And then you spend the next 5 years doing what we just talked about then, head hunting people to back you onto your farm. And because you've got that pitch, because you're confident, because you're the best, someone is going to say yes. You don't know who they are or when that's going to happen, but because you've proven that you can do it, you're good with someone else's money, you've saved your own money, you're investing your own money, that sounds to me like a sure bet. What if you're a farm worker? So you're probably a fair way away from being farm ownership ready. do everything we just did then. Get your farm vision clarified and think smarter about where you're going to spend your time. And start hitting up strategically people who you're going to work for. So if you're working for someone who would never ever give you any equity or ownership, maybe that's good because you're learning a lot from them, but maybe you should be thinking about farmers who are more likely to share ownership, allow you to buy into the herd, think about buying the next door neighbours with them. Strategically think about people who have the mindset that you need to be able to share ownership when you're good enough. Get a mentor like Claire did, and does. Like, that's so powerful as well, to know that you care about yourself enough that you're paying somebody else to help make sure you're the best.
Invest in yourself first. I think that's the key message, isn't it? Invest in yourself and learn what you need to learn, because it's the best investment you'll ever make. Yep. And it doesn't stop there. You're always evolving and always growing. So if you can back yourself, invest in yourself, you're going to grow your skills, and you're going to end up probably going up the ladder in the company that you're working for anyway, and you're not going to be just the worker. You'll end up in a management type role, and more opportunities will come. So back yourself and learn what you need to learn.
That's great. And then volunteer, put yourself out there. Organise a Cultivate Farms Friday, frothy, we're trying to do all over the country. Be out there organising things, showing that you want this, and open doors for yourself. And what about someone who's never farmed before? Love this idea. We want to get accountants and lawyers and nurses, everyone who wants to own a farm, to know that it's possible. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time, but think about it smarter and harder. Works smarter and also harder. Not about working less. But again, find the best farmer. Get on Instagram, find the best farmers, get on Google, talk to your land care coordinators, find the best farmers, headhunt them, and work for them. I talk about this all the time around volunteering. Imagine if you found the best farmer in Australia and you said, give me a job, I'd love to work for you because you're the best. They'll say no because you cost money. But if you said to them, I will work for free for 12 months for you, they'll say yes. And you get access to their networks, their investors, their skills for free for 12 months. And it's probably cheaper than going to university or TAFE. It's a bit radical, but again, these opportunities are available to you if you want to go for them. But if you're starting from nowhere, think about working with the best farmers. But maybe also you've got business skills, and this is what Claire's really passionate about. Maybe you've got business skills that you can be applying to a farmer who probably doesn't enjoy the business side of things as well. So how do you find those farmers and say, I can help run your business side of things so you can keep doing your farming? Exactly, and
I love the business end of our business, and that's what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about agriculture, and I love the farming side of it. I don't necessarily want to be the one out there every day trying to muster the pigs. That's not really my gig. I like to come here and inspire other people and get people learning about the business end of their business. So, let's just say, for an example, that we decide to expand Freeland Pork. I mean, we run this enterprise on 100 acres. It's small, and it's a profitable enterprise on a small farm. We can duplicate that and help other people. So I could, set up this model for somebody else on another farm because they want to farm it, but they don't want to do the business management side, but I could. So, I could be the one going, well, I want to invest in you because you're an awesome farmer, and now I'm in a position where I can come in and own the farm, and you can come and farm it for me,
Yeah. Who wants to move to Victoria and work with Claire? Go talk to her afterwards.
I might sell up and come back to Queensland, I don't know.
Yeah. So now, there's a few more slides, but I love this, the message around back yourself, back your industry. And what we'd love to do is, one, get you onto your farm, back yourself, everything we talked about here. We would love for you to back your industry, but we'd love the industry to back you. And this is a bit of a call out to everybody here that's involved in agriculture, that we need to normalise this idea around sharing ownership. The more people that know that it's possible, that there are great arrangements, the more retiring farmers are going to already be ready to have this discussion with you, and you don't have to tell them what vendor finance is, because this is normal discussion. We need the Queensland Government, Ag Industry, QFF, Future Farmers Network, Queensland Chief Entrepreneur. We need all these people helping us, helping you get the word out there that young people want to own a farm. They're never going to be able to save and buy it themselves. We need to get people partnering. We need to unlock investors. We need to get retiring farmers to think about sharing ownership. The single biggest thing we could do as an industry to get young people onto farms is to convince every single retiring farmer to think about sharing ownership with kids that aren't their own. If we did that, there would be no issue here. You guys would not be listening to me out. You'd be out there farming right now because you'd be sharing ownership with a retiring farmer. We need to flip that mindset. We know it's a big mindset to flip, and it's going to take time, but that, I think, is the biggest single thing we can do. So how do we all, as an industry, get retiring farmers to think about sharing ownership so that you have your chance of getting onto your farm? We're trying to unpack things like unlocking local farm investors. How do we use the Bendigo bank model of setting up locally owned banks? And how do you set up locally funded farm funds where people invest to get a return to bring young people back onto farms in the district? We're trying to throw out ideas there to unlock this, but we're only a small team and we need more people throwing out ideas, talking about what we're doing and what you want, and then we can make it easier for doors to open for you. How do regional communities be matchmakers? You know your community better than anyone else. You know all the retiring farmers. People in town know everybody. How does everybody become a matchmaker? Everyone loves doing it just with their friends. But how do we do it as a community and do this connecting at a local level? I think that is so powerful. We've got a project with a few Victorian communities doing exactly that. So, you've got your 4 steps. This is your 5th one. What is a tangible thing you can do, not right now because you're going to be listening to the rest of the presentations. What can you do this weekend? If you really want this, let's boil it down to something that you can do on the weekend, something you can Google, someone you can find their email address or their phone number. Just circle on your plan now, just 1, 2 things, or 3 as I've got here. Keep it simple, just pick something, just get going. If you really want this, don't just sit around thinking one day it'll happen. Get out there, have this vision. You've got this vision now. Start thinking about the things that you can do. I'll give you 30 seconds. Jed, let's go for it. More questions.
So just a quick announcement. There's been a couple of questions come through about TikTok and Facebook and how do they link up. We'll put Sam's contact details on the YBPF Facebook page, all his Instagram hashtags and everything will be up at some stage today. My quick question around how you as a business make your money. How does Cultivate Farms make your money?
We eat 2-minute noodles and hustle. So it's a matchmaking fee is what we offer. So retiring farmers pay and investors around $4,000 for a successful match. We're not a real estate agent or financial advisors, we're a matchmaking organisation. And then we offer it to you as aspiring farmers. You can pay $150 a year and you get to talk to us and we give you a piece of ideas and tactics around how to get into your farm. But that is the question we need to keep figuring out. How do we make this a viable thing? It's just us having a crack trying to figure this out. If you've got other ideas how we can make money, keep this thing going, let us know. There's one at the back, Jed. Should we go that one?
Sam, Peter McGilchrist. I had a question for you, mostly around your bachelors with a will left to no one. How the hell do you find those? They're not connected with anyone normally. So how do you as a business locate them and get them involved?
Me as a business, really tricky. So we're social media first, but through that we're getting newspaper articles. So newspaper articles is where it's at, and one-on-one discussions is the real gold. But we're trying to cover Australia and it's hard. So we have foot soldiers here who have maps with a dot of where they want to be and a 50k radius. They've done an aerial survey and they know every single farmer and they've found a little black hole. They're going, who does live there? And on Saturdays they go driving.
Your talk is inspirational. I hope everyone listens hard to it. If I had a little more time, I would have told you about a guy who did what you're talking about. He's done it. He now owns 90-odd thousand acres of country. He's leasing 400,000 acres. The family have got it stocked, and you watch this space. It's one of the nicest men you'll ever meet. I'll tell you his name because a lot of you guys want to talk to him. You'll want to talk to him. His name is Carl Bain at Quilpie. And he is extraordinary. He's modest, he's courageous, he's got faith in the future, he is powerful. And I'm going to match you and him because I think you have got the answers, young man. You're a winner.
Amen, that is brilliant. Well, so that's probably what we're up against, is that all these things happen with farmers just in everyday life. This isn't about doing hoo-ha like I do every day, trying to get your attention. They're just doing these deals. And so finding them is really tricky. They're just going about life. So I'd love to uncover more of them and show everybody that this is not crazy. This happens every single day. It's just farmers aren't out there broadcasting that story. So thanks, Alf. That's amazing. We've only got 2 more slides here, so we can do questions now. But here, you should have your farm ownership pathway plan. If that has not inspired you in that 90,000 acres, I don't know what else will. If you want this, go for it. This is your plan. That is just a very short plan. You can flesh that out. You can check out all of our content. It is for free on YouTube. We aren't on TikTok. That's the only thing we're not on. I can't figure it out, TikTok. Podcasts, Instagram, blogs, Google us. There's articles. There's other people doing stuff. You need to be chasing this up. If you want it, it's absolutely possible. And thank you so much for your time. And Claire and I are here till about 1 o'clock to keep talking.
Questions though.
Great.
So,
Questions?
we got questions from the floor before we go to Jed's questions. I know Jed's got a lot of questions on his list.
Sam here, the bloke asked the question, doesn't want to sound cynical, but wondering if you have any fail stories. So following from our presentations where we've all made mistakes and learnt from them, is there mistakes in your model somewhere that you've learnt from?
We thought we had to set up a fund and get money in and get an Australian Financial Services licence, and we were going to shut this business down probably 6 months in because we didn't know what this was. But we realised it's not about us having the money ourselves or getting investors to invest into us to invest into you. It was just relationships. So we just adapted. We knew we had this goal, and this is what you guys should have as well. You had this goal. We want to make it possible for young people to own a farm. We don't know how we're going to get there, but we're going to get there. And that should be the same thing as you. You'll probably find a farmer that you think is the best, and they're the best person you've ever met in your life, and 6 months later they ditch you. But that's okay because you've got this vision up here. That is what you're fighting for. I don't know how you would keep going in life if you didn't have that vision of what you wanted. So make sure you write it down and keep going, because you're going to get knockers. You're going to get people who bag you out. It's going to be hard. The bank's going to say no over and over and over again. Your parents won't invest in you. There'll be so many no's, but who cares? This is your vision. You go for it. And that's the same with us. I've got this crazy, I don't want to work in my government job anymore. I want to start my own business, matching you guys onto farms, and I'm going to make it work. You need to have that same attitude with your farm.
We'll do one more question.
Just a comment. I'm Gail Court. I'm from Rural Aid. Rural Aid have some programs which might assist you in this. A farm sitting program and another program called Farm Army. I'll be here all day. I need to talk to you.
Let's talk. Absolutely.
And guys, it's a great opportunity. Anybody who has done the Farm Army or Farm Rescue trips has really, really loved it. It's just, you guys are in the farming anyway, but city people that do it just think it's absolutely wonderful. But even us as farmers, going onto somebody else's farm who's really in a bad way and helping them, it's amazing. It's a good opportunity, and it might be an avenue for you.
Absolutely, and just to carry on, I think people were probably thinking here, hey, I'm going onto someone's farm, and you can go and help them out. But if you've got that attitude of, hey, I want to provide value, I want to be useful, it's not about hopefully I go on this farm and they'll give me the farm. It's, I want to learn about this farmer and find their vision, and maybe I can be helpful in other ways. But also it might be that this farmer starts talking to you and says, I don't really want to go anywhere and I love this farm so much. And and you can start a conversation about how you can give them value by you being part of their farm. So it's about you providing value. That is the number one thing here with those farmers. It's not about you trying to take, it's provide value, and by doing that, doors will open to you. But you just need to be trying with 50, 100, 200 farmers before those doors, or one door is opened.
So, I know there's a lot of other questions that people have put through to the poll. Day 2, let's see, send it through to the poll, but as you can see, we're always really short on question time. So send it to the poll, but also think about standing up and asking that question to the group. Can we please give Sam and Claire a round of applause? Go, Sam.
We'll answer all those questions. I'll do it. We'll do a little video and answer every single question you've got. Contact us, annoy us if you want this. We're here to help.
Claire, do you want to final word?
Thanks, everybody. You guys have been a really great audience. It's been really cool to stand up here and share the story and inspire you all. So thanks heaps.
Thank you for your attention and for watching this video. Click here or somewhere to watch more of our videos. If you're new here, please do subscribe. We want more of your attention. We want to get you inspired to get onto your farm. Let's get you farming.